Okay. Good afternoon, Indonesia, and good morning, Netherlands. Welcome to our session on sustainable urbanization and the new capital city. I am Aris Susanti from the Faculty of Forestry, Universitas Gadjah Mada, and in the coming 75 minutes, I will be your moderator and walk you through this session. As our world becomes increasingly urbanized, sustainable city development is essential. Today, we will delve into the challenges and opportunities of urbanization, focusing on the role of higher education and research cooperation between Indonesia and the Netherlands in planning and promoting sustainable and socially inclusive urbanization in both countries. We know that the world is now witnessing the process of Indonesia's capital city relocation from Jakarta in Java to Ibu Kota Nusantara or IKN in East Kalimantan. So in this session, we will discuss with Indonesian and Dutch researcher who have been working on this topic, and we will also explore ways to collaborate for sustainable and inclusive urban future. And for that, we have five speakers who will share their experiences and research results on this topic. And please welcome Professor Bart Barendrecht, Professor of Digital Anthropology at the Leiden Institute of Cultural Anthropology and Sociology, and also UNESCO Chair of the Anthropology and Digital Diversity. Welcome, Professor Bart. And second speaker is Dr. Galuh Indra Prahasta, Senior Researcher and Chair of Urban Rural Dynamics Research Group at the Research Center for Population in the National Research and Innovation Agency, or BRIN. Our third speaker is Professor Kei Otsuki, Professor and Chair of International Development Studies at the Faculty of Geosciences of Utrecht University. Our fourth speaker is Professor Rianta, Professor in Rural Geography at the Department of Geography, Faculty of Geography, Universitas Gadjah Mada. And our fifth speaker is Dr. Fitriansa. He is the head of Research and Innovation Agency of East Kalimantan Province. Please welcome to this session. And we will have like 75 minutes of this session, and we will have like two segments of presentation. Each will be like 20 minutes and will be followed by a general discussion. So for the first section, I will invite Professor Bart and Dr. Galuh uh, uh, for the presentation, and the second section of presentation will be from Professor K, Professor Rianta, and Dr. Fitriansa. And yeah, let's start our first segment. Professor Bart and Dr. Galuh, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you so much. So, a very good morning and afternoon from the Netherlands and also Indonesia. First of all, allow us to express our sincere gratitude to all the speakers and participants, as well as Bu Moderator, Bu Octavia, for being here today. Our thanks also go to Bu Octavia and all the organizers who have guided and also helped us in arranging multiple things. We are extremely very happy to have the opportunity to present some of our collaborative works at the Winner Event 2024. We do hope that this can stimulate further collaboration not only between BRIN and LDE, but also probably Utrecht University, UGM Brida, and others. So next slide, please. In this first part of the sessions, Pak Bart and I have the opportunity to share more about our past and ongoing works on Indonesian urbanization. Probably I'm not going to, introduce who are we because have been introduced by Buari. The next one, please. So we divide our sharing session or presentation into two main parts. In the first section, we will share about the BRIN-LDE Academy, which is the very first activity that kickstarted the collaborative works between, LDE Alliance, or a consortium of three Dutch universities, which are Leiden University, TU Delft, and Erasmus Universities, and also BRIN, or the National Research and Innovation Agency of Indonesia. on a certain topic, which is Indonesian urbanization and beyond. In this section, we will also share the outcomes and follow-ups of the BRIN-LDE Academy. Then in the second section, we will share and reflect on some contemporary issues on Indonesian urbanization based on some of the past and ongoing works between BRIN and LDE, as well as some of our personal academic journeys. The next one, please. Yes. First of all, I'm going to introduce and share a bit more about a bit overview of BRIN-LDE Academy. Next slide, please. So allow me to firstly share the first part of our presentation by introducing what BRIN-LDE Academy stands for. So this academy was organized twice, uh, and it is a collaboration between LDE and BRIN based on the idea that about cooperation across national borders. And the first edition was organized back in 2022, and then the second one was organized in 2023 or last year. Both editions carried a similar theme, so centered around smart, sustainable, and healthy city. However, given the situation in 2022, the first edition of the BRIN-LDE Academy also highlighted the implication of the COVID-19 pandemic to cities. So while both events were supported by the government of South Tangerang City, one feature that differs the second edition to the first one is that the 2023 BRIN-LDE Academy had an additional co-organizer, which was UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta. Then the BRIN-LDE Academy is expected as a platform where urbanization and cities are seen and discussed through multiple academic lenses. So therefore, the senior scholars from the Netherlands and also Indonesia, as well as the participants, they came from different academic disciplines, although most of them have social science background. So the main idea underlying the organization of the BRIN-LDE Academy events is the creation of a pressure cooker, quote-unquote, workshop, notably for the Indonesian young or early career scholars. These scholars or these young or early career scholars were selected based on the paper abstract that they submitted. And during this 1 week event, the BRIN-LDE Academy provided a couple of activities, including plenary lectures given by LDE and also Indonesian scholars. And then the Academy also provided joint writing sessions, notably for improving the draft of paper that the participant already submitted before, and also joint writing sessions, notably for improving the draft of the paper, and also for writing up joint research proposal, literally from scratch for the proposal. And also we had one day visit in South Tangerang City. So it is expected that the BRIN-LDE Academy can nurture and actually expand collaboration not only between LDE and the Indonesian scholars, but also between senior and also young or early academic career scholars by co-creating, or we call it as co-creating different outputs and follow up after the event is completed. So in this part, Prof. Barendrug will then elaborate a little bit more about these specialties on outputs and follow-ups. Please, Pak Bart, the screen is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Galu. Can we see the next slide, please? We are very excited to introduce a new BRIN-LDE series. It's a 3-volume publication that we are planning with Leiden University Press, featuring some of the key papers from the 2022 and the 2023 academies that Galu was already referring to. It's a series exploring the rapid developments of Indonesian cities, hoping to give valuable insights into the complex but also often very contradictory processes that shape the country's urban future. I want to briefly walk you through the contents of each volume to give you an idea of the series. You see them on the screen. Volume 1, which has the title Living the Smart Life, Indonesian Cities in an Era of Digital Transition, is a book that Galu and I are currently working on together with our colleague from BRIN, Nurul Huda. And it's a volume that typically delves into how digital technologies are transforming Indonesian cities. Think about topics like AI in urban planning, digital platforms like Gojek in informal economies, data governance, but also very real ethical concerns of living the smart life. And think about how digitalization worsens inequalities among city dwellers, depletes natural resources. Now, this book is almost finished. You can hopefully see the launch soon. We are meanwhile working on a second volume, which is proficiently entitled Urban Heritage in Post-Colonial Indonesia. And so the emphasis is slightly different. This volume focuses on the preservation of urban heritage amidst all sorts of processes of modernization. And it's a book that aims to explore how we can integrate historical narratives, memories, legacies into city development and give it some place that it probably deserves but often doesn't get. It highlights the risks, I think cultural erasure due to gentrification, but also advocates revitalizing intangible heritage, which is often still a very abstract concept for city planners. Think oral histories, traditional arts. And then we have a third volume, which is for now called Urban Dwelling Differently, which focus on what in anthropology is currently very fashionable, more than human approaches to the Indonesian city. It's a volume that takes a broader look at urban life, and not just at skyscraper cities components like streets or neighborhoods, but also it takes into account ecological perspectives, the role of non-human actors. I think rivers, forests, but also the rats and the dogs that stray, Jakarta, for example. It calls for sustainable urban planning and that respects natural entities like the rivers and the forest I mentioned. It also urges for a shift from exploitation to a more harmonious coexistence with those non-human actors. Now, the first volume will be launched next spring, followed by the others. And the series typically aims to enrich Indonesian urban studies more generally and contribute at the same time to global discussions on sustainable urban development, taking some of these Indonesian examples as possible best practices. Can we see the next slide, please? Now, Masgalu already hinted at that. Beyond publications, our focus is actually, of course, on collaboration at large. The products are nice, the process is even more important. And we are very proud to say that the academies have brought together experts from Leiden, Delft, Erasmus, and a couple of Indonesian universities, together with our colleagues from BRIN, but especially also early career scholars from both sides, I would say, that are eager to contribute to their own communities if it comes to urbanizations. The sessions have fostered joint proposals, and part of the pressure cooker model is writing books, but also very much writing proposals together, many of which have later secured funding from BRIN's so-called Ruma program scheme. And we just wanted to highlight one of the projects here by our dear colleagues Nimas Maningar from BRIN, Vera Savanova and Jan Fransen from the Institute of Social Housing at Erasmus, because they are working on this very nice study, Inclusive Smart Kampungs, which is typically very nicely fitting in the first volume as well, as showing that top-down, tech-centric approaches often, in the long run, exclude vulnerable groups. And their study calls for more inclusive approaches, flexible city visions, taking the example of Malang and Magelang, and looking out how the government can support and empower communities in those two cities. Now, as a follow-up, Nimas will soon begin a fellowship, hopefully at Erasmus, to work with Vera and Jan to co-author a publication which is called Selective Inclusion, How Smart City Programs Include Some Marginalized Communities. And maybe, who knows, inshallah, we can present that next year. Now, let's hear a little bit more from Pak Galuh. Please, Galuh.
Yes, thank you, Pak Bart, for passing back the ball to me. Yes, next slide, please. So our second part will be discussing about our, reflection on some of the papers, some of the works, and also our own academic journeys. So allow me to firstly begin. Could you change the slide to the next one, please? Yes. So Indonesia is still pretty much urbanizing, meaning that more and more people live in cities, An increasing number of rural areas are becoming or converting into urban fabric. So based on the latest statistical data, almost 60% of Indonesian population belongs to urban population. And however, our knowledge of the country's urbanization seems to be half empty, if I may call that one. Because this is due to the fact that many international studies on urbanization in cities in Indonesia seems to favor large cities as their object study. So overlooking the fact that smaller urban centers are also facing pressing challenges. On the one hand, we cannot deny the fact that existing metropolitan areas are expanding, encroaching surrounding once rural areas into sprawling urban fabric. To a certain extent, there has been also a fusion of two metropolitan areas into a larger so-called mega-urban regions. One notable example would be in Java Island would be the Jakarta-Bandung mega-urban region. On the other hand, urbanization has also taken place outside these existing metropolitan areas, notably along the north coast of Java, as you can see on the map. So one possible factor has been the implementation of otonomi daerah or decentralization since 2002 that has given more rooms for local actors to creatively develop their own regions. And over the last 20 years or so, we have witnessed how a number of localities have taken the national spotlight, spurred mainly by strong and vision-driven local leadership. So have, for instance, different kind of best practices, so cases in relation to, for instance, green planning and also open green spaces and also waste management and good smart governance, participative planning are some of the examples of the best anecdotal examples showcased by those localities. I cannot mention the names of localities one by one. There are a couple of examples. And another possible factor would be the state-driven mega projects and globally induced economic activities that have benefited some regions, but at the same time have put some into less advantaged position. So just for example, the development of Mandalika mega project with its MotoGP event, for instance, has escalated the global profile of Lombok. But on the other hand, the development of Patimban port in Subang, which is part of the PSN or mega project, has brought the fate of Cirebon port into jeopardy. Cirebon port was once a port that to be the fourth largest seaport during the end of this fourth largest seaport in Java during the end of colonial era. The next slide, please. So from unpacking some relevant papers from the two editions of the BRIN-LDE Academy and our own academic journeys, there are several things in relation to Indonesian urbanization that we can reflect upon. One thing for sure, cities, regardless their size, are centers for growth, creativity, and innovation because cities are blessed with abundant and diverse resources, including in terms of the diversity of their people and the availability of various infrastructures and technologies. However, these potentialities would not translate into positive outcomes if different dots within and beyond cities' boundary are being not connected. For instance, the presence of batik industries does not automatically lead to Pekalongan local development. So the interplay, for instance, between different actors and how each actor then performs its specific role and function have helped the continuous innovation process underlying this locality development in Pekalongan. Some other cases, similar one like the creative industry in Bandung, has also exhibited that the importance of inter-actor relations and working based on collective actions. So the decentralization system does encourage a more democratic environment and citizen participation in the development processes. However, the extent to which such milieu is being utilized depends on the willingness of local authorities and the awareness of their citizens. Urbanization, on the other hand, has also produced unintended implications ranging from environmental to socio-economic aspects. So in terms of environmental aspect, for instance, urban areas are the larger sources of greenhouse gas emissions produced by notably motorized vehicles and the energy system and consumption processes. The COVID-19 pandemic was expected to act as a reminder to shift how cities should be directed, including Indonesia. We ever witnessed here in Indonesia the condition of clearer sky and fresher air. However, the carbonization transition in cities seems to run rather slowly, while the number of motorized vehicles, notably motorbikes, has increased quite significantly. Another pressing issue has been, for instance, land use conversion and river-basin governance that entail and the need for instance, cross-border governance. In addition to pollution, cities are also associated with instant lifestyle. So walking and using public transportation have not yet become a habit due to many factors, including the availability of supporting infrastructures. Meanwhile, food stalls are also everywhere in cities, making urban dwellers to consume food differently compared to they used to do in the past. So all in all, the somewhat unhealthy lifestyle combined with unsportive built and natural environments has exposed urban dwellers to non-communicable disease. There is also an academic call to have, as Pak Bart already mentioned before, a richer view on cities and urbanization, where much of contemporary urban theory is perceived to be biased on experiences from and in cities in the global north. So, as a case in point, the presence of urban kampung can serve as one unique typology of southern cities in this regard, along with some views associating urban kampung with ghettos, messiness, and modernity. There has been a tendency to envision modern city as the only ideal urban imaginary. However, studies have indicated the social, cultural, historical, and also economic values of urban kampungs, whereas other practices in Indonesia have also showcased that urban kampung environment can be improved, and how the social aspects of urban kampung dwellers have contributed in the improvement process. Cities are also characterized by many diversities, particularly in terms of economic profiles of their citizens. Therefore, there is a need to address how, for instance, urban commons can be accessed by different groups of citizens. So the phenomenon of Citayam Fashion Show in Sudirman district in Jakarta 2 years ago was an indication that urban commons are important for younger generation to express and showcase their talents given the limited physical space that they have in Citayam, which is a crowded suburb about 1 hour by train from Jakarta central area. Another thing that has also permeated cities and citizens is the omnipresence of digital technologies. As we may have been repeatedly preached, technologies have been part of human civilization, and different stages of industrial revolution are associated with different sets of new technologies and engineering system. Cities, in this regard, are perceived to be the spatial expression of this civilization progress. So, given this backdrop, in the next part, I will give the stage to Pak Bart again to share his reflection on how smart cities and AI have entangled with urban everyday life. Please, Pak Bart, the stage is yours.
Yep, thank you, Mas. Can we have the last slide, please? Now, the upcoming first volume, Living the Smart City Life, delves a little bit more in how artificial intelligence and smart city technologies are reshaping urban life in Indonesia at the moment. And let me briefly end by looking at 4 main themes or trends. The first one is how to define smart city technology in Indonesia. And we can be very brief about that. In Indonesia as elsewhere, smart city technologies are mostly designed to enhance urban management, improve quality of life through digital tools and systems. And they mostly rely on data from Internet of Things devices. And think about your fridges, your mobiles, sensors, and residents able to optimize city services. However, there is a lot of discussions, as we notice also from the articles in our volumes, when technology is prioritized over people, and potentially widening social but also economic gaps, but also often technology being sold as a one-size-fits-all solution. And these projects tend to overlook broader social, economic, and also environmental context, as I will say in a moment. The involvement of private companies can further complicate all of these effects, raising concerns about whether public welfare is maybe overshadowed by profit motives. High resource demands for technology may very clearly conflict with environmental goals, and practical challenges like technical difficulties, cost limits, their scalability. Now, what we call for in our book, and of course we are not the only ones, is a more community-focused, inclusive, but also a transparent approach that is clearly needed. And I think it nicely aligns with some of the other approaches that we already see around. I think here about the Asian Development Bank's livable and lovable cities approach. UNESCO has this very nice program on learning cities. It's more about literacy than technology, but also more indigenous ideas. The kampung that Galu was already referred to, we see also being translated in the digital era, of course, with a smart kampung approach, favoring social fabric over technology. Now, secondly, another thing that we briefly want to talk about is the trends that we see in Indonesia if it comes to the use of AI and smart city technologies. And I think there are clearly some very good Indonesian practices. One thing that stands out, Jogja Smart Province, a large initiative that already runs for some years, is clearly an initiative using AI and digital government service to improve public services delivered by the Jogja authorities. And probably setting a benchmark for other regions that other regions also may look at. Magelang Smart City has tried to modernize bureaucratic processes through e-government applications, improving urban management, think waste and those kind of things, but also environmental monitoring. And such examples show that well-targeted smart city initiatives can effectively tackle urban challenges and that they also can enhance the quality of life in Indonesian cities. However, there are of course also challenges. And the same Jogja we just talked about, insufficient IT infrastructure has hindered the full potential of Jogja Smart Province, limiting its effectiveness in a lot of ways, I would say. Elsewhere, we see very low public engagement with these kind of projects, but also cybersecurity issues. And despite launching numerous apps, there's really tens of thousands of e-government apps in Indonesia, there's clearly a lack of public involvement, which is crucial for the success of these kind of smart city projects. And that's not strange. There are concerns also about data management, security issues, and questions of citizens. Who controls their data? For how long? Where are they kept? When are they thrown away? And there's other ethical concerns that clearly come up with digitizing our cities. And what about integrating technology into local governance, such as the RWRT system? It raises really questions about how much technology should be embedded in our everyday lives and how much we can stand. I also want to say briefly something about the sustainability of smart city technologies, as Pagalu already hinted at some of that as well. Now, the sustainability of most of these technologies, of course, should not only be assessed because of their technological potential, but also for their environmental, economic, and social impacts. And for example, smart waste management that promotes recycling is nice. It contributes to environmental conservation. And while economically, these technologies can reduce cities, helping operating costs and improve city service efficiency. However, social sustainability remains again a critical concern. And what if this happens, this kind of new smart waste management, only in particular neighborhoods? And there is clearly a problem. And one case from our book by one of our authors is from Batu City, very clearly illustrates that. There's a very smart city policy being used there by local authorities, which aimed at integrating technological solutions for urban management, but they struggle to benefit marginalized communities, especially those people involved in the informal villa economy in Kampung Songoriti that she writes about. And there is a gap between top-down policies and the logical digital needs of the less well-off here, and that smart urbanization often seems to overlook. And then finally, to wrap it up, we clearly need digital and smart literacy as a key to success if we are to build our smart cities. It's both citizen literacy, and we need educational programs that are essential to improve digital literacy, especially in those urban neighborhoods that are less well off, and truly engaging the community and providing education that can help, but also gaining acceptance and encouraging local bottom-up initiatives. But that is not enough. I think we also need literacy at the side of the authority. And local governments need to be trained. They need to manage and use smart city technologies effectively. They need to know like what the data are being used on and what they are gathered for and where they are kept. And it should be including technical skills, but also a full understanding of local context to implement more tailored smart solution. Now, in conclusion, this volume, as the first in a series of three, provides, we think, valuable insights into the varied applications and outcomes of smart city technologies in Indonesia. And some of these initiatives, especially the smart kampung approach, could serve as a model for new cities worldwide, we feel, and showcasing how to integrate advanced technology while at the same time also doing urban planning for a sustainable and inclusive future. While there have been notable successes, challenges remain clearly that require careful planning. Sustained investment is one, and probably we will hear something about that in the next presentation on IKN, but also community involvement, which clearly stems from the articles in our book. And we need to enhance digital literacy among stakeholders. It's crucial to realize the full potential of smart city projects in Indonesia. We feel, speaking also on behalf of Pagalu, that for IKN Nusantara, there is a unique opportunity to hear and to learn from other locales in Indonesia and to implement sustainable smart city solutions from the outset. I think smart energy grids, AI-driven public transport, but especially green building technologies. But let's look at the other examples we already have in Indonesia. With that in mind, we return it to Adi and to the next presenters. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Bart and Pak Galuh. Very interesting. And we learned that the urbanization also touch upon many dimensions, not only the urban itself, but also the rural area and environment and also other aspects. Yeah. And we will continue to discuss this, but now I think I want to invite the presenter for the second segment, Professor Kei Otsuki from Utrecht University and Professor Yanta from Faculty of Geography, Universitas Gadjah Mada, and Dr. Fitriansa from East Kalimantan Research Agency. So the floor is yours. Please.
Okay. So first, thank you, Ari.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Galu and Bart, for the nice explanation of your project and also the general framework of urbanization. I was actually pretty inspired because all three volumes of your works actually speak to IKN, how it's developing. And I'm sort of trying to represent the also large consortium of Dutch and Indonesian universities working on the understanding of the impacts of the new capital city in Indonesia, especially in Kalimantan. And not only about technology, but it's also about the impacts on the environment, as Ari mentioned, and also impacts on the surrounding communities. So this idea of how to get all the local knowledge and governance into the planning of IKN is vitally important. Therefore, we have maybe I will briefly explain how our project team looks like, and then quickly I want to pass it to Pak Rijantan and also Pak Fitriansa that they can go into the details of our research. So we have this research project called the Following Frontiers of the Forest City Towards Sustainable and Inclusive Urbanization in Kalimantan and Beyond. And this is the 4-year program funded by NWO and also used to be BRIN. I don't know now who is funding in Indonesia, but it changed a little bit. But the basic objective is to generate the knowledge on the how the frontiers develop when this new capital city is being built, and it's inaugurated already last August, in 17 August. We were all there to witness. So I think maybe Pak Rijanta or Fitriansa can explain further. And our researchers, actually, that we have now 3-4 PhD researchers and postdoc researcher working really following the impacts from different perspectives. One is following the impacts on water, one is following the impacts on energy, on food, on land. So these are the kind of research that we want to bring forward. Also in relation to this Indonesia, maybe urban studies that Galuh and Bart were mentioning. Another objective, so one is research, but the other objective of this research project and collaboration between various institutions in Utrecht and also Delft, and now on the Indonesian side is Gajah Mada, Institute Teknologi Kalimantan, Lambung Mangkurat University, and well, the Fitriansa's office in Brida in East Kalimantan, and mangrove and restoration agency of because we also want to work on the ecosystems, and that's why also Ari is leading one of the work packages, because forestry is also a very important part of this research. But we want to really work together with the local research institutions and to contribute to the local researchers' development so that they can keep on following the impacts. Because I say that this is a project of 4 years, but after 4 years, we also want to keep on learning from what's happening. And in that process, we would like to also create sort of co-creative platform or research and the dissemination platform together with the Brida in Kalimantan. So maybe we can talk a little bit about how to make this collaboration more fruitful and sustainable. We've been accumulating lots of research results. If you go to Utrecht University Forest City website, then there are already quite a lot of information about our research, but I think now maybe I can pass my floor to maybe Pak Rijanta, so that you can also explain, start explaining what kind of research that we've been doing and where we are now, so that we have enough time to also discuss later. Is that okay, Ari?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Pak
My
Rianta first or Pak Fitriansa?
That's
Pak
Pak
okay.
Fitri, ayo.
Fitriansa is
Oh, yeah.
Kalau
going.
berkesan silakan dulu Pak Fitri.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, then I will do
Okay,
first.
Pak
Yeah, it's
Fitriansa.
okay. Feel
Yeah.
free.
Okay,
Go first,
yeah,
Bob.
okay. My slide, please. Yeah, thank you everybody. I would like to present some a kind of progress report that we have within the last 2 years actually, because in this third year we have not been able to do something because of some constraint. Then hopefully we can will soon and conducting some activities more. And next slide, please. We have our team, Indonesia and the Netherlands, that we divided ourselves into 7 work packages dealing with spatial impact mapping. This is ARI. Then mapping impact of peatland. The first spatial impact mapping by Rosalina. Then second, mapping impact of peatland and forest ecosystem is ARI. The third is ERLIS, dealing with socioeconomic and land use and livelihood impact mapping. Then we have also work package 6, which is conducted by Fandi. He is part of the PhD student from Utrecht University. And then also we have the mapping the underlying driver and actors of the. Actually, it is about investment in the frontiers and urban politics. It is dealt with. It is dealt by Bosman. He is part of our postdoc. Then from work package 4 and work package 7 they are dealt by myself and Professor Rosuki. We will develop a platform that permits participation of all citizens, urban citizens, through a platform that is GIS based that will be established this year. Then next. this is the location of our research activities. So far, we working outside the city, the core city of IKN, because so far we are only permitted to do our work outside the core of the city, because only very recently the city is open. Then we are working in 8 villages where the impact on various aspects like environment, livelihood, and also how urbanization materialized in these villages, we have learned from in the last 2 years. Next. Yeah, this is our activities from 2021 to 2023. Actually, we have done a lot with data collection, then data analysis from household data, spatial data, biophysical data, and qualitative data. Some publications already available, books and presentation, article, journals, and so forth. Then we also, this is something specific from UKM, we deliver also some obtained knowledge from the field to the local people through student community service. Up to now, we have mobilized about 105 students from UKM. They stay around 2 months in the field to help people to prepare preparing the people to face the adverse impact of the coming urbanization. So they give some assistance in terms of training, vocational, and also some kind of helping people uh, to develop their village in different situation. Then we have also launching Nusantara Center. It is hosted by Pak Fitri's office. It is by the Prida. We can check it. And then this is an important achievement, linking Indonesian candidate, PhD candidate to partner university in the Netherlands for joint supervision to enroll in Utrecht University, and one enrolled in UKM, and two are preparing for LPDP scholarship. Then they are going to go to Utrecht University. They are going to deal something with forest and another one with mining, which is very important sector in the surrounding area of the new capital. Next. We have some preliminary observation, but I'm not going to present all of this because I will have to represent 4 members of the Indonesian consortium, and I will highlight some of them. We found that the area beyond the IKN is heterogeneous community with relatively strong integration in various groups in the community, and there was no evidence of ethnic-based conflict. And from the research of one of our PhD student, Mr. Goma, he found that the third generation of migrant has not been able to speak their own local language. They've been using the Bahasa Indonesia. This means that the area is really a kind of a melting pot where cultures from many parts of Indonesia met. Then they established new culture with, especially in using their own mother tongue. Then the economic activities in this rural area, because we are focusing on the rural side, where urbanization is also in the early stage. The economy of the rural side of the IKN is very diverse. We can see economic types from subsistence to commercial, traditional to modern, and small to large scale. This make the future urbanization will be probably will face the problems with environment as well, because of the many kind of activities in this behind the IKN resource space, like mining, and especially mining that may endanger the environment. Then the area has a low population education attainment, and then also the problems with stunting and early marriage are still there. And this is one of the topic that dealt by our undergraduate student, how to change the people in this area to overcome problems with stunting, and also dealing with this early marriage. Then we found also the low capacity of human resource at the lowest government institution, especially kelurahan and desa. Although at the same time, we can find after the construction of the IKN, the physical accessibility has been very excellent, especially road connecting from this area to the rest of the province. We have a very good road connection now, but there are still some blank spot for telecommunication network. Problem of land, this is very urgent about legality, boundary dispute, and private methods. And this problem, I think, until now, there are some kind of conflict at local level. And of course, to proceed with the development of this IKN, the many problems about land must be solved before. Then there is a euphoria among the local people, but unaware of the future consequences of urbanization. At this time, many people already at the early stage of awareness that there will be a kind of threat in competition as their village urbanized. Next. Yeah, then also the area beyond this IKN also has a long history of land dispute actually. This is not something new among people, government, and companies. And the presence of IKN just re-amplified. So the problem with land, very important is, I think Erlis will deal with this. And then also a sign of initial marginalization in the village beyond the IKN and exclusion of the indigenous people. This is also something that needs attention for further study. Then the presence of IKN disrupt the structure and power relation at the local level, especially the actual practice of land management. The kepala kampung and the tokoh adat used to have a kind of power to redistribute land for their people, but now under the new system, the modern system of land, they do not have such kind of special. I would say that they do not have such kind of access anymore. Then the young people prefer to work in non-agriculture rather than agriculture. This lead to the lack of commitment to agriculture development from the government, and costly farming practice has also led to dependency on food found from other parts of the country. East Kalimantan itself can only fulfill their food as about 2/3 of the total need. So another 1/3 should come from South Sulawesi and Surabaya, East Java. Then migration to East Kalimantan has increased in the last 2 years, primarily in Balikpapan, the near city to IKN. Then the last item here is that the IKN is not free from disasters. Actually, as we go with more detailed maps, then the disaster are still there. Then next. Yeah, then for the next step, we are going to study about the implication of the new coverage of the central governance zone, because in the past they take only part of the Sepaku district, but now they take the whole Sepaku district, and this has a long impact to the status of the regency itself, because to be a regency, there are minimum number of districts. As one district is taken by IKN, then Sepaku is not valid as a regency. It is the reason that now they are trying to establish new district, and for establishing new district, they need to establish more villages. This will have a consequence on the additional budget of the regional government of Penajam Pasir Utara. Then also we found that the reason for conversion from rice field to palm oil was, among other, the inconsistencies of policies in agriculture development. The agriculture development actually willing to put the part of the area of the Penajam Pasir Utara as the main source of food, but actually no significant effort has been found so far the amount of food is still lacking for the whole province. Probably part of the PPU has been able to be kind of self-sufficient, but for the rest of East Kalimantan, there is still a problem, and also especially around the IKN. Then the understanding leading sectors and commodities in IKN and its peri-urban and the supply chain scenario among the regions. It is also part of our study. This will involve kind of study on rural-urban linkage as soon as the city in operation later. Then the role of and transformation of the local government organization as a stakeholder in development is more and more important for this time, because in the past they used to deal with the economy of mining, but now they have a kind of widening their scope also to be actively involved in the development of the IKN. Then we will focus on this study and IKN in this urbanization and migration in this year also. And one student of the PhD program from UGM will study the relationship among ethnic groups, and I think very soon he will submit his work, and maybe in the next semester he will defend his work. Next. And then last item here, there will be a lot of budget cut for the development of IKN. So it becomes very important to follow the development of this, the consequences of the budget cut, because some figures that already put on we know in media, it is a lot of decline, a lot of cut. So and now there is a scenario that the development of IKN will take place until 2045. Yeah, so there will be long way to the real full IKN. Then next. We are going to publish some of our work in books and articles of international journal. And then this year, we are going to develop information system for the sustainability of IKN, part of a learning lab that we promised in the proposal to facilitate participation, planning, co-design, monitoring, and evaluation. And one of our students also will deal with this kind of work. And then hopefully by the end of the contract, we will have this system. Then also another one is developing information system for site selection. That this is also very important, because when we have this IKN and site selection is very important step to make things sustainable. Otherwise, there will be problems with sustainability in the future when we do not consider site selection in a sustainable way. Then, of course, we will work with BRIDA in especially strengthening the capacity of researcher at BRIDA, data analysis and publication through in-service training, short entry courses in Indonesia and abroad. So we already put some step in these activities. Then we will facilitate more PhD candidates from all parties under the consortium, and we will work with the partner universities in the Netherlands. Next. Yeah, there's some publications that we already have from these 4 work packages. Actually, we want to work more to prepare books and together with our partners, because these books are actually a kind of compulsory outcomes from the Indonesian side to have a report to the funding agency of Indonesia. So actually, we can work further from these books and research articles. Thank you. Ari,
Hello, Ari.
Ari, go ahead Pak Fitri kalau nggak ada.
All right. Thank you, Prof. Dianta, K. And then I will continue for completing the explanation from K and also the Prof. Dianta. Uh, where is my presentation, please? Okay, thank you. I just want to explain additional information about the research collaboration Indonesia and Netherlands that in term in the Forest City Consortium with the Utrecht University and then the Brida and then the UGM and so on. Next, please. We know that now in the Nusantara development states, from the starts, there are about 5 states from the development of the IKN, and then the states, first states is has finished, and then there are more for about 4 states uh, in develop start from this September, and then yeah, last August we have Indonesia celebrate the Indonesian Independence Day in the IKN that are led by the president. Next, please. Here's the Nusantara today. Now the stage 2 is start from this September, and then many building, especially for the main building, has built, especially for the president place, and then the some minister building, and then a hotel, also the hotels, and then about 3 days ago VVIP airport, especially for the president, has finished, and then presidents about I think 3 years ago landed in this VVIP airport. Next, please. And then what happened? There are some issues in the 2024 this year. Uh, there are many government employees from the Jakarta start move to the Nusantara, and then the central government plan there are about 17,000 will move this year, but we think is less than 70,000 government employees because the lack of some public utilities, and then the other issues about uh, the central government choose that there are the young employee and the unmarried government employee to move first in the move the first stage, and then other issues is about the Rianta said about the indigenous people, and then about the legalization of the traditional laws, and then also the property right, especially for the land, and then the local wisdom. We have also the conduct about the research about the local wisdom, and then about the income for the local people, and then the lack of the high education that the Prof. Rijanta mentioned before, and then also the more important is about the cultural heritage object. We also have a pay attention more about the cultural heritage object, and then now the development of Nusantara, it faces about the issue of the investment, especially for the foreign investment in the IKN. There are a lot of issues come up with the development of the Nusantara. Next, please. And then about talk about the research and innovation collaboration with, especially with the Forest City Consortium, Actually, from the 2020, we have a lot of research, especially in the outset in the Brida, and then the consortium helped us with the K, with the Projanta, and then the Airlist, with the conduct the research about the. We have a seven topic divided into the seven work packages, and then also we have the collaboration more in the with the other universities and other countries about the peri-urban and then the buffer zone and then concept the three cities consists of the Nusantara, Samarinda, and the Balikpapan, and other the research topic where the related with the development of the Nusantara, such as the transportation and then the food supply, water supply, smart city, like the BART, very interesting, the presentation of the BART and the GALU about the smart city. We also the conduct about the smart city for sporting IKN, and then the cultural tourism and post-coal mining. We know that the Nusantara also have the post-coal mining surrounding the IKN, and then other topic of the research. Next, and then about the impact and the benefit from this consortium. Thank you for the consortium help us, especially in the government, especially from us side, from the local government side in the East Kalimantan side. We have many advantages, many benefit or impact, especially for as a base of the to decision making for some government policies. Even now, all the books of this research, the consortium research, also we gave to the Bapenas, or the National Planning and Development Agency of Indonesia, as the as a considering to make the decision, especially for the government policies. Next, there are many institution that the BRIDA make a research collaboration, not only for the BRIN, our institution, our main institution in the central government, and then the authorita, and with the many local government, many universities, many also the universities. uh, in the abroad university, on the Indonesia university. Next, I think that's all. Thank you once more. Thank you for this consortium research. Many benefit that where they feel, and then for the base for the government policy. Thank you.
Thank you very much for Kay, Pak Ri, and Pak Fitri. Very interesting,
Well,
yeah.
Ali.
And yeah, and hello. Yeah, and I think what we learn here is that the co-creation and what is it, spin off from the original research idea, and now it is getting broader and more people involved in this consortium. Thank you. And I think we will go to the next section, which is a discussion section. Can I invite Pak Bart and Pak Galuh also on stage? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Pak Bart and Pak Galuh, for waiting. I think, we have here like what is it? Similarity between these two consortium. Yeah, we work with uh, different people from different background and different location, and yeah, uh, it is like I want to know also, like from your experience, what are the challenges of working with so many people in a very big consortium and different background in different location. Some people are in Indonesia, some people are in the Netherlands, and different times zone. And yeah, what are the challenges and how to deal with that? Or maybe we can start with Pak Bart or Pak Galuh, and then continue with Kay, Pak Ari, and Pak Fitriansa. Please, Pak Bart.
Yeah, should I go first,
Yes.
Pagalu? Looking at the yeah,
Yes, silakan Pak
and
Bart.
then
Yes,
you
please.
add to it. I would say, that of course there are challenges. There's a lot of confusion, and I always like confusion, because you need to be confused first, because before something productive comes out of it. I noticed that it's much more of a challenge to work between disciplines, I would say, than it
Mm-mm,
is between Indonesian and Dutch partners.
mm,
We have a long-standing experience with that. That's not the real problem. But just talking about the very concept of sustainability, like even biologists mention sustainability, or an anthropologist like me, and we are talking clearly about different things. So that takes some time. And you're completely right, Ari, about how do we work through time zones. We have learned to work like this on screen, mostly due to COVID, of course, but it's not ideal. Let's be very clear in that. I think it still needs physical co-presence every now and then, to sit down, to slow down, and to really take time with each other, to be confused, and move from there. But I'm interested to hear, Pagalu, how you experienced that.
Yeah, actually quite similar. I mean, it's more challenging to work with people coming from other disciplines because we have our own traditions. Let's say that way. For instance, I'm coming from planning and also human geography background, and I recently worked with people coming from anthropology, like here, so Robert, and uh, one term can can be defined differently. I mean, it's among many disciplines. And the other thing that interests me so much is also, I think we need more time to adapt each other. I mean, it's probably a couple of months, for some 1 year. I think it's quite normal, as long as we have both of us have, I mean, both sides have, the resiliency and the tolerance to work in different culture, and
mm,
we can be a fast learner, something like that one.
mm,
It's interesting, not because, of course, we were selling this academy very much as a pressure cooker model.
mm.
Yeah, I know.
Then we need to slow down. So there's this different
Yes.
kind of temporalities, like speeding up and then take your time to digest and discuss things. But it
Yeah,
works so far.
Yeah, indeed. Yes. Yes, indeed. Based on our experience.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. Maybe Pak Fitriansa, because he has limited time, so I give time first for Pak Fitriansa. Maybe you can share your experience working with like different background, different people.
Hello, hello,
Yeah,
check.
yeah.
Hello. Okay. Sorry, maybe the connection is not good. Okay. Main experience, collaboration or research with the many parties, many universities, and then also across the nation, Indonesia and Netherlands. Many experience, interesting experience, especially for the helping our local government in term the as a base for the government policies uh, facing the development of the Nusantara. Many issues, many problems face us as the local government, especially for the social impact, and then many I think as a not concern about the problem, but it's the challenge for us. A
Mm,
challenge to solve these many issues, especially to help the central government, the local government, and also the important thing is for the people, for the society. I think we have from the breeder, we have this research can continue with the many topic that the Rejanta says, many issues that facing the new every time there appear the new issues in surrounding the IKN about the disaster, some flood, and then also the health, and then for the about last month, uh, the interesting thing, Balikpapan as the main one of the three cities surrounding the IKN, Balikpapan faced the health problem, especially for the reproduction health. There are many what is said sexual disease
Mm.
facing surrounding the IKN, and then the Department of the Health of Balikpapan said they need the more more a medicine because many people come move to the Balikpapan and then the Sepaku. So that's one of the main issue or main our challenge our challenge to solve this problem.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you,
That's
Pak
all,
Fitriansa.
Ari.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Fitriansa. Maybe we can uh, continue with Pak Rianta and Kay, the challenges and how to deal with that, like working with the consortium, many people from different background, different systems, location.
Yeah.
Please, Pak Ri.
Yeah, thank you, Mbak Ari. For me, cooperation in this consortium is something really, uh, I would say, an excellent opportunity for me after my chair as a dean, because in 2017, for the very beginning, I met Osuki in Utrecht University. I was introduced by analysts, and then no analyst already retired. We are reconnected again with Utrecht University, and now we will have more and more ties, especially with our PhD students from our staff members, and of course, this is a very good bridge, a new one, that we will continue our long history of cooperation, because actually already in 2012 I was introduced to analysts by Hank Heusman, but then we tried to apply some funding together but never made it. Then finally, when we have opportunity to propose with this IKN project, we just find someone who is uh, very accurate in dealing with this, because her dissertation is about Brasilia. So I've been very lucky to meet Kay, and we have been able to team up during the COVID. So we have really a lot of time to work online, and yeah, it was very good. And unfortunately, by the time there was a problem with the website of the NWO. I think it was hacked. Then the announcement was late, so the work is a bit later as well. But okay, thank you. And for us, it is very good opportunity to rebuild our long-lasting cooperation with Utrecht University. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Rianta. Maybe Kay, you can continue.
Yeah, thank you. Well, maybe quickly, because Bart and Galu mentioned this interdisciplinary collaboration challenge. For us, maybe the challenge is now more. Well, we are very lucky to have Fitriansa, for example, in East Kalimantan provincial government, because he is very collaborative, and of course, Pak Rejanta had been known to us for a long time, so that part was not that difficult. But I think more as we proceed, more relationship, how to work with the government, especially like a national project like EKN, how to interact more with also social movements, which are increasingly anxious about the effects of IKN now. So we want to also collaborate with all the different parties. And so for me, personally, I think this is a challenge of transdisciplinary collaboration, how to really work together with different societal partners, with different interests, and still as a researcher be responsible to pass on our knowledge and research products so that we can work together across, of course, the Netherlands also. The Dutch government is also not free from all this. They are going to articulate investment. So I think in that sense, we want to maybe shape together some kind of responsible research agenda on urbanization and this kind of mega project in a very transdisciplinary manner. I think that's for me very interesting.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Kay. So I want to give opportunity from this both project to learn from each other. So I give opportunity to Professor Bart and Pak Galuh to ask question to the other project and also vice versa. Please.
Yeah, thank you, Ari. This is fun. This is nice. Huh? So we
Yeah.
continue. I actually had a question for Parianta.
Yeah.
I like listening to your presentation. All presentations, thanks. They were great. I learned really a lot, and glad to see that there's so many books already coming out of this. I've noticed some, of course, on the way, but it was very impressive. But Parianta, you were mentioning the budget cuts from for IKN. That's of course on all our minds. We're following the newspapers and thinking like, is this going to become something or not? But you were also mentioning the initial euphoria and enthusiasm of locals, which I recognize. To my surprise, that a lot of people locally were very positively embracing the IKM project. What does it do with the local people now listening to this budget cuts? Do they feel left alone? Are they disappointed? So that's one question. And I actually have a second question for you, if I may, Baari,
Yes.
which is about community service. And we all know that UGM especially has a very long tradition in this
Yes.
KKN community engagement. And we in the Netherlands are always a little bit looking with envy, like how you do that kind of community engagement. But can you say a little bit more about your particular project? And maybe Kay and Pavitri can add to that. What are the initial effects or results of your community engagement? Are you already doing some things? It's something I'm very interested in. And some people call it citizen science. But can we already show to policymakers like, hey, this works. We need more of this.
Yes, please, Pak
Yeah.
Rianta.
Yeah, about the euphoria. Many people have been very happy with this decision to move the Indonesian capital to East Kalimantan. And of course, everybody has a kind of expectation that at least from their account, they think that their lands will increase in price, and they will identify a kind of I'm rich now, something like that. And of course, then they do not aware that if there is urbanization coming there, then there will be a tight competition in competing for jobs, competing for opportunity for business and so forth. But they do not realize that possibility of competition. But no, maybe from time to time they are aware also, and this is a good opportunity actually for our students, undergraduate students, to help them in preparing and facing the coming urbanization, because the basic problems of the socio-cultural in the area is, among other, related to early marriage, then stunting, that big problems in this area and in the hinterland of this area. So our students coming there to assist people to access various information and services from the local government. Students actually can find a kind of sponsorship, and also to deliver some services to the local people. Sometimes it is as simple as connecting local people to the local health officials for some information, for instance, about this early marriage or about the kind of stunting, something like that. Then students will work and try to find sponsorship. And among the sponsorship, sometimes related to the alumni association, and they are very supportive in making the program success. Even now, we have one of the alumni of the Mbak Aris faculty is the head of the regency of
Yeah.
PPU. Then there will be a lot of easy ways to help people. And part of our, the what we know from research, and we try to deliver to the people, even though it is still some kind like a temporary or preliminary finding. But then students will dig deeper and deeper with the local people, because they have like 2 months in the field, and they did a lot, and it is now in UKM becoming very good program. It is worth 8 credit semester unit, so a big one. So only very recently, in the last 2 semesters, the worth of this the credit of this KKN is very high now. So students actually enjoy it, because many of our students are willing to go outside Java for this kind of community services. A few of them, of course, still enjoy doing the same thing around Yogyakarta as well. Yeah, especially for those who are not having a kind of hobby to travel a lot. But many of our staff members are actually becoming addicted with this kind of community services, because we enjoy it in the field, and we interact with people, and try to help people. And of course, then this kind of activities, usually we can repeat it only up to 3 years. Then after 3 years, we have to shift to another villages, other location, something like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Pak
Thank you.
Rianta. Uh, and Kay, maybe you can add.
Yeah, the community services are really great. I find
Yeah,
whenever
we
I
enjoy
met all
it.
the students, because that's where also you start really interdisciplinary collaborations.
Yeah.
Not the students are staying in a big house from all over different faculty, and one is working on mapping, the other one is doing tourism, the other one is helping with the digital, like a website making for the local government. I mean, they do a whole bunch of different things together for the general, let's say, area development. So I found that very interesting and also inspiring. In general, I think community engagement indeed is one of the main things that we also really want to learn what best to do. So not that we just extract data or, just go there and then interview people, but how to get back to the communities, addressing their concerns. So that's why it's very important, at least as you mentioned, also how to work more with the local governments, which have pretty much, resource-wise and capacity-wise, lots of limitations. So I think, and especially now in the context of IKN, for example, the national authority tends to sort of bypass the local governments when they make decisions. So that is also like maybe our role to try to bridge the kind of widening gap between national projects and the local situations.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Kay. Is there any follow-up question, Pak Bart, or
There is
No, maybe Mas Galu, I'm thinking. Not like, sorry.
oh,
there
Pak
was a
Galuh, is
request
there?
in chat. There was a
Please, Pak
request in
Galuh.
chat.
No, I think no, because
Okay, so I'll
yeah,
give
thank you.
opportunity for Kay and Pak Rianta to ask a question to Pak Bart and Pak Galuh.
Can I maybe
Please.
very briefly respond to what Kay was just saying? No?
Yeah,
Because I
okay.
recognize this had a challenge of transdisciplinary work, and especially the national and local governments.
Yeah.
I see that's our next frontier. That we really have to learn, like, how are we doing this great project between disciplines? We do work with local authorities, but how to produce digestible formats. And we can do policy papers, but I'm not sure if that's the greatest format, or infographics. But there's so much to learn there, like how we can produce knowledge that we can share with local decision makers, policy makers. And that's the real challenge, I feel, in the field of urbanization.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was also my question to you.
Oh,
You know, what's next? But now you already answered it yourself. But like, maybe we can do something like for like a piloting. You know, one of those your volume one to cater for the Fitriance's office, for example, or for the lower level of government. You know how to deal with this new smart city, because IKN is going to be, well, at least the plan is it's going to be smart and green and you know,
it would be
all very
lovely.
new.
Absolutely.
It's new.
Yeah.
But then I don't think we have a clear idea of how to learn from other cities of Indonesia which had gone through this, and what were the blocks and what were the possibilities. But you know, so we also want to learn from your product and see, experiment maybe, you know, how can channel it to particular city when the city government starts facing this kind of challenges. Well, what do we do? Because, you know, okay, we have to, let's say, electrify everything, or we have to have a stable connections, but then they don't have. Then, you know, like, is it so basic, or is it something that we can still leapfrog somehow, or I don't know. So maybe I think that's something that we can. I will be very interested in learning from your project.
Yeah, thanks, winner, that they put us in the same panel, not together.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I have some
Let's do
question,
that.
Pak
Like, that's easy to arrange, I would say.
Yes,
Yeah,
please, Pak Rianta.
my question is, we expect to have a huge migration to East Kalimantan, but of course now we think that if we consider Balikpapan, there are many people coming. But I have a kind of doubt. Is there any possibility of compensation from migration to the use of ICT? Because many people, young people especially, I notice from our surroundings that they are lazy to go to outer islands because they can find something in Java, and of course, many can be accessed using mobile phone. Of course, outside Java also possible, but then cost of living in East Kalimantan is very, very high. Yeah. Do
Yes.
you think there is any possibility if migration has been compensated by the use of ICT?
Yes. Please, Pak, but very short because
Yeah,
we run out of time. Please.
it's a very good question, and I think we can do our best, but it's never really going to truly compensate.
Yeah.
And so, like, digital technology is not a quick fix to all of our problems, and we should be
Yeah.
realizing that. At the same time, it's worthwhile looking into it, especially including the young generation. And see that we need to do our best in terms of literacy education. And we don't talk about IKN yet as a educational project for young people enough, I feel. That's another thing that we may want to be talking about in the near future.
Okay.
Is it short enough,
Okay.
Mari?
Yeah. Because yeah, we run out of time, I think. So I have to close this session. And once again, I thank you to all of the speakers and participants and organizer for making this session a success, and let's continue working together to create sustainable and inclusive urban future for Indonesia and the Netherlands and also beyond. Okay, thank you very
Thank
much and
you.
have
Thank
a
you.
nice
Thank you so much.
day.
See you
Bye.
again then.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.